Good morning. Life flows in seasons, and each has its time, its lessons, its gifts, and its grace. Please join me as together we will ring the Tibetan bowl and listen as the sound fills the sanctuary and then recedes back into the silence. In these few seconds, let us open our hearts and minds to receive the goodness that we bring to each other, that the service will bring to us today.
This is I Will Wait for You.
Well, good morning, everyone, members and friends and visitors, both in the sanctuary and on Zoom, wherever you may be, to the Unitarian Universalists of the Chester River, a church that is special in our lives, active in the world, and grounded in love and justice. Perhaps you join us this morning seeking community, seeing familiar faces, maybe meeting some new ones. Perhaps it's been a rough week. I think we can all identify with that. Maybe you're looking for a deepening sense of spirituality. Or to be honest, perhaps you just know that Greg Shute is going to be at the podium this morning or at the aisle, in the aisle, which is more his style. No matter what your reasons may be, we are glad that you are with us, so welcome. In the book of Ecclesiastes, we read that for everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. Greg's talk is entitled, What Time Is It? And together we'll be reflecting on this in our lives, and we look forward to this. We have a few announcements. Number one, Darlene is back, and yes. And I'm not even going to begin to thank the many who have stepped in to help the church run smoothly during her absence. Their names are on my tongue, and I wish I could, but I know I'd leave someone out. So you know who you are, and we thank you so much. She will be here on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, 8:30 till 12:30, I believe it is. And if you want to poke in and say hello to her, that would be wonderful. We need some coffee makers and some greeters, and you can sign up right out there. You know where the whiteboards are. That would be wonderful. And a big announcement is that our soup supper fundraiser will be held on Friday, December the 12th. Tickets are $25 each, and you can see Jane Hardy about this. But if you love homemade soups, I mean a variety of them, homemade breads, homemade desserts, wonderful things to drink, do come. It's going to be on, as I said, Friday, December 12th, and if you're going over to the Presbyterian, it's not the Presbyterian Church, it is the Presbyterian, right across the street, for the corral. You can do this first and then just walk right across the street and enjoy that, or just come and stay here. It's a wonderful, wonderful fundraiser and a good chance to be together, and such good food. So put that on your calendars and do come. And I believe that's the end of the announcements. So now let us begin. In the order of service is our chalice lighting words, and Greg will lead us with those.
Let us join in unison. For all things there is a season, a time to begin and a time to pause, a time to seek and a time to rest. We gather in this moment between what has been and what will be, to honor the rhythm of life unfolding. As we light this chalice, may its flame be our steady center, a small sun reminding us that each season in its turning holds its own light and its own grace.
May this flame remind us to open our hearts to the lessons of the present moment. May we take this moment to reflect on all the moments which have shaped who we are. And now the hymn, Turn, Turn, Turn. The words are in the insert in your order of service.
Was there a different arrangement? I'm trying to really common arrangement that.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll sing along.
How many verses?
I think we have the insert.
4 verses with 3 choruses.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Stand as you are able. Is the season turn, 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 and a time for purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to die, a time to reign, a time to kill, a time to live, a time to laugh. Thank you. So this morning, Greg brings us this well-known passage to our service, that there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. We look at our past moments, at this, our present moment, and we see time slipping by, one moment into the next, and bringing change. Some easy to accept, some hard, and yet these too have a time and purpose. And to know and accept this is the path to peace. To resist brings pain. And so we find this being addressed in the Bible and in prose and poetry throughout the ages. This is the important lesson. Words of wisdom on acceptance and living gracefully with this hard truth that everything has its moment, its rightful time and place under heaven. And then it's supplanted by another, and we move on. In some instances, it seems like a big ask for we humans, and yet this is the lesson. Mary Oliver speaks to this in her poem when she says, "To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes to let it go, to let it go." How simple the wording, how difficult it can be to do. And yet all along we've been called to live with openness, holding life and loved ones with open hands, open arms, ready to let go, to allow each season, each moment of living as we speak it, give way to the next. We know what the reverse feels like when we clutch, when we hold on to. It simply prolongs the inevitable. It's like fighting the tide, and it brings suffering. And so the voice of wisdom has been whispering to us throughout life, from earliest moments, nudging us even then to live this truth. And it grows more insistent with the years, if we haven't been paying attention to the turning seasons of our lives and all they hold. The quiet wisdom of change. There is a rhythm to the world older than any clock or calendar. Morning follows night. Tide follows tide. Joy follows sorrow. Not to erase it, but to remind us that no moment lasts forever. And we are called again and again to live with openness and to trust that change, though sometimes difficult, that change is the pulse of creation itself. That change, even one that we might dread, is the pulse of creation itself. So what I am striving to learn, what each of us may learn, is to move with that rhythm, to find grace in its shifting light. May we remember that time is not our enemy, but our teacher, forever inviting us to begin again. And notice the lessons in each moment and find the sacred in the ordinary flow of life. Amen, and blessed be. And blessed be. And now is the offering. I will be passing the baskets. The generosity of this congregation is wonderful as you give to us in all ways for the ministry of this church. Greg will lead us in a meditation.
That was, those were the days, by the way.
Yeah, they were.
Life moves in cycles that we cannot fully understand or control. There are moments of stillness and moments of growth, moments of grief and moments of joy. Each season teaches us and shapes us and reminds us of the sacredness in all things. May this time we spend this morning together invite us to open our hearts to the lessons of each moment. May we take this still moment to reflect on all the moments which have shaped who we are now and who we shall become. Let us take a moment of silence. This morning's reading is from Ecclesiastes. Strange how those things all come together like that. In the words of the teacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem, "Vanity of vanities," says the teacher, "vanity of vanities, all is vanity. What does man gain by all the toil at which he toils under the sun? A generation comes and a generation goes, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises and the sun goes down and hastens to the place where it rises again. The wind blows to the south and goes round to the north. Round and round goes the wind, and on its circuit the wind returns. All streams run to the sea, but the sea is never full. To the place where the streams flow, there they flow again. And all things are full of weariness. A man cannot utter it all. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. What has been is what will be, and what has been done is what will be done. And there is nothing new under the sun." Vanity of vanities. I love that. Vanity. It's all about vanity. I don't think we often want to think about that, but it's true. I think most of us feel like we have power and control over our lives. We think that what we do makes a difference in the world, that who we are matters. And so we feel this sense of importance, of self-importance. And yet the teacher goes on to say that that's so vain, that it's unjustified, that our self-importance is really presumptuous, that the world goes on and round regardless of who we are and what we do. The rivers continue to run, the winds continue to blow, the sun rises and the sun sets, and what we do, the toil that we make, makes no difference in it in the long run. The teacher goes on throughout the Ecclesiastes to talk about the world is full of sorrow. It's full of sadness. It's full of weariness. It's full of wickedness. It's full of injustice. It's full of evil. And ultimately, we all just pass away. kind of depressing book, really, in a lot of ways. The teacher says that, the world goes on regardless of who we are. Generations come and go. The sun keeps rising and setting. And so even when we pursue our own ideas, if we pursue health and wealth and happiness, it makes no difference in the long run because we all are doomed to die, to pass away. Nothing is permanent. Everything is fleeting. Even pleasure is fleeting. It comes and goes momentarily. The joys of our life are so transient. And that's the problem of existing. So, Ecclesiastes is one of the original existential writings of all time. The word hadn't been invented yet, but it's interesting to read Ecclesiastes, which was written 2,500 years ago. And a picture, 2,500 years ago, people were still struggling with the same things that we struggle with today. The problem of existing, making sense out of it, finding purpose and direction. It's an existential question before Kierkegaard or Sartre or Camus. It's the existential problem that we all face. What do we do? Here we are. What are we going to do now? What comes next? Well, the teacher observes in there, the part that we sang, that there's a time and a purpose for everything. Things keep coming around. There's a time to love and a time to hate. I don't know about hate, but at least be angry about. There's a time to build up and a time to break down. There are seasons that seem to fill in for all the things that we are and who we are and where we're going. So life is full of choices, and so the question becomes, what time is it now for me? Where am I going now? Who am I now? And I'm considering all of the choices that we make. I remember thinking back, I've been thinking a lot about this lately as I get older, now that I'm retired. A lot of times people will ask me, how do you like retirement? Don't you find that you have all the time to do all those things that you always wanted to do before? And I say, no, that's not it. But the thing that I cherish is that now I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. I love not having to go to any church meetings, any boards, any committees. There's nothing I have to do anymore. My life is much more open to choices. I think back on my own life when I was a student, and I had to go to classes, and I had to study, and I had to do this, and I had to do that, and I had to read this book, and I had to read that book. And boy, I resented that. I had all these things that I wanted to do, and instead I had to do these things. And that was the season, that was the time of my life to be a student. And the problem was that I didn't do it very well at all. I was more interested in going out drinking with the guys or dancing with the girls or anything that was my choice. And I learned eventually out of that after I dropped out of school and had to go back to school later, that there are consequences to our choices. And to accept the time and the place that I'm in at any given time is a large lesson to be learned. That there is a time and a season, and I better pay attention to that and be aware that there is a time and a place. I think I eventually grew up a little bit. I got married, and then I had to be a husband. That was eye-opening. I don't know how many of you have ever been in serious relationships and had expectations about what it was going to be like. And it was even more glorious than I thought it was going to be, But it still was a learning process. It was different than what I had expected it to be, and I had to be different too. And then having kids, my goodness. You know, we did our research. We were going to have kids. We had a boy and a girl, and it worked out really well. And they're great kids. But man, bringing them home that first day, it was like, what have I done? Fortunately, and I was talking with Jim just a little bit ago, now they're adults, and I love going out to dinner or the theater or spending time with them, and I can relate with them as adults. I don't have to worry, well, I still worry about them, but I don't have to teach them anymore. I'm not responsible for them anymore. And they're just wonderful people to be around, fortunately. We enjoy them very much. So there was a time when I was a parent, and I had to coach softball and baseball and basketball, and I had to attend middle school concerts, which that's hell in itself right there. No. But work too. For years, I struggled with a career that didn't work for me. I eventually dropped out of that, went to seminary. I think I know I enjoyed seminary very much in my career after the fact, and I think I've been fairly successful at it. So that was a good thing. But the thing that reminds me the most of when I'm thinking about the seasons and the times of my life, many of you know that I was fortunate enough to go to South Africa in 2002 and went back 23 more times, basically every year ever since, and worked with a children's home there and built some housing there and took a number of student groups from the church in Newark and from the University of Delaware. And we did a lot of things there. And eventually, over time, though, the two women that essentially established and ran this children's home, they both passed away. The place has gone out of existence. The students have moved on. And I look back on it as a joyful, very rewarding experience and a very growing experience for me too. And in a lot of ways, I regret that it's no longer a part of my life. But the lesson that comes out of that for me is the letting go of it. As Annie had said, that there's ends to things too. And we have to accept that things end, that life ends, experience ends, relationships end. And we have to let go of that and move on. So the question is, who am I now? What is my time now? Well, I was thinking about that, and one of the important things is that next weekend, Mary and I are going down to Alexandria to celebrate our granddaughter being 2 next Sunday. So I don't know how to say it, but she says grandpa, but she doesn't say grandpa. Who knows what she says? She mumbles something. But she smiles when she says it, even on the phone, even on the Zoom thing, And so that's my time now, being a grandparent. And I really enjoy that. And Mary enjoys it. And she has pictures. She has video. But my time now essentially is tied up between two things. I played indoor tennis 3 days a week. I played for 2 hours yesterday and then spent about an hour and a half in my hot tub. And that's how I get my exercise. That's how I remain young, if you will. I was never able to do gym work. I don't wear a, what do you call those things? That keeps my steps. Mary keeps track of her steps. But I don't. So tennis is important to me as an older person to stay active and to stay mobile. And so I play tennis 3 days a week. And then in between times, I try to walk with Mary at the local park in order to get that exercise and get my steps in. I'm lucky if I get 3,000 steps in. Those of you who count steps know I'm supposed to be getting 10,000 or thereabouts. So who I am today is very different from who I was a long time ago. My time today is different because my priorities are different. My circumstances are different. My perspective is different. My time is freer to do certain things and to choose to do certain things. The biggest thing that I spend my time on now, we have a new cat. Those of you that have cats, I need not say more. This cat is 6 years old. She comes from a shelter. She had such bad dental problems that no one was gonna adopt her because it was gonna be expensive. And the shelter wasn't gonna fix it. So this cat was just gonna exist like that. So when we found out about that, of course, we had to adopt this cat. And the thing is that when I sit in my office, she has to sit on my lap and she has to put her paws on the keyboard. I send the most bizarre messages on the internet now. And if I'm laying in bed at night reading, she has to sit on my chest or lie on my chest. And this has become a problem in a lot of ways, but also a blessing because she has far more patience than I do. She will sit and lay there ad nauseum. I mean, forever. And so I spend my time sitting and thinking a lot of times. And that would have been that cartoon I sent you would have been great. Snoopy saying, now it's time to sit. But that's the question. Do I sit here or do I go cut the grass? Do I lie here or do I go to the grocery? Or do this, that, or the other thing? And I'm becoming more and more aware, thanks to my spiritual guru, that my life is full of choices of things that I ought to do or could do or should do, but maybe I don't choose to do. And so my time, how I spend my time and what I do with my time is significantly changing as I get older and I recognize there are pressures and there are choices. And I have choices, and those choices are becoming more and more dear to me. To spend time with our children, my wife, with our granddaughter, my cat, and just sitting and thinking often. So as I've been talking, what I'd like to do is to invite some of your thoughts. Is this one, can this one be on?
It's on.
It's on.
Some of your thoughts about who you are, where you're going, what your time is spent on. What time is it for you, essentially?
Frank, do you want me to pass it or do you want to?
I want to.
Yeah.
It's mine.
You usually do.
What's the cat's name?
Well, the cat's name in the shelter was Finch. Somebody else had named it Lily. We didn't care for either one of those. So we spent a lot of time making lists of names and shared them with our kids even, make this a democratic process. And even got some input from them. And so we spent several days and we really didn't know, but we were patient. And we said, the name is gonna come. And it did. Because we have another cat that we've had for 20 years, an old cat, named Fenway, by the way. We're from New England. Yeah. And Fenway is the alpha cat. And so this new cat has to learn her place. And as she's learning her place, one thing that we discovered, you have to watch where you're stepping because she goes flying by and then comes flying back. And just I said to Mary something, I said, this cat is a Scooter. And that's the cat's name, Scooter. And that's what she does. That's who she is. But thanks for asking.
It's always a great pleasure to hear your sermons, Reverend Sue. As far as the cats are concerned, I would say just one thing, that they are the smartest animal. All they do is say meow, nothing else. And think about it, that one word gives them everything they need. Now, is there anything smarter than that in this world? Now, the second comment I'll make is about your contribution in South Africa. And after 23, I guess, trips to South Africa, I'm sure, as you said, you miss it. And that is because we get attached. And attachment is probably the worst enemy we have. And the Indian philosophy from India teaches to detach, unattach, mentally, if nothing else. Because mechanically we cannot. We love that thing, so we are attached. The only thing you can do is to try to be constantly aware and try to unattach. Nothing else you can do.
Thanks. Absolutely, I've talked before about non-attachment, right? That doesn't mean detachment. Certainly, it was an important time and everything, but I have to let go of it, you're right.
This is exhausting for me to listen to. The whole attachment thing, I wanted to be a teacher from the time I was in 4th grade, and I was, and I loved it, and I miss it desperately, and I can't stop missing it. I don't know how.
Yeah. Well, that is a problem, and there is no answer to that because, the answer essentially is don't not miss it. Absolutely miss it. That's who you are and were, and it's okay to miss it desperately, sadly, and that's an important part of it. Looking back on all of the things all of our experiences. But we have to also move on the changing of the times and the seasons, and now we're different now than we were then. I don't want to get back to the cat thing really necessarily, but we were dog people. We had in the first 50 years of our marriage, we had 9 dogs, and but then Mary got a job in Washington D.C. and had an apartment, and it didn't make sense to have a dog, so she got Fenway, and Fenway's still with us. But so then we became cat, and now we travel, so we don't have cats, we don't have dogs anymore. We have cats. But sorry.
I was going to suggest perhaps that while you are missing what was so important and so real, it might be that it is time now to celebrate, which is a way of putting into perspective and releasing while still treasuring everything there was about it. Celebrate, find ways to celebrate it. Perhaps, you can use your imagination, but a celebration of it, perhaps a periodic celebration that you can look forward to as the time goes by, as years or months go by. This is the day I celebrate it. Take out all the memories, take out all the beauty, and the bad times. You were a teacher, there were bad times. Anyway, so perhaps that might help in the release of the pain, releasing the suffering. The Buddha says that we will have pain, but that we do not need to suffer. And perhaps embracing the pain of this, celebrating the beauty of it, will ease the suffering.
Thank you.
I'm going to talk about dogs and cats because I have a bunch of them and they run my life. And I was laughing because I have a cat who's learned that when she wants to go outside, she goes to the door and she says, "Me out." And it's very clear, we all laugh. It says, "Me out."
Yep, 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 yep.
Just fun.
I mentioned that we travel now. So part of what the seasons, the times of our life is, we spend September in Italy every year now, and we spend some time in May in the Outer Banks, and those become essential parts of who we are. They are on our calendar well in advance. We've already booked next September flights, and hopefully, and everything will be well. But that's who we are now. This is our time to travel, and that's an important thing for us. More thoughts, whether it's on pets or not, something deeper. I mean, we did get into this release idea that you raised, and the problem that you're facing is to recognize that time moves on, time keeps moving around, and who we were once is not who we are right now, but that things change. And we're faced with, that's the existential question, we're faced with a choice about how we make sense of these changes as we become something new, and we learn something and evolve. More questions or comments? Somebody has to say something profound. Pressure's on, Paul.
Well, as you were reading Ecclesiastes, it struck me that I just fundamentally disagree with much of what Ecclesiastic had to say. And, clearly it was written in a different time. 2,500 years ago, humanity didn't have the impact on the earth and didn't have the, so life moves on in cycles and cannot understand or control. We can understand and control a lot more of what we could have 2,500 years ago. And all these are nothing new under the sun. And I think that's absolutely false. I think there's a lot new under the sun, and it's changing all the time. And I think that these are challenges and problems that we need to address. But I was just struck by how much of Ecclesiastes I fundamentally disagreed with.
Okay. Well, I agree with you, and I was reading the same thing, thinking environmentally and scientifically and all. But the point that the teacher makes is the world is full of sorrow. That hasn't changed. The full world is full of injustice. That hasn't changed. Weariness, sorrow, and suffering, and death. So what do we do with those things? Because we understand about the sun and the moon and astrophysics and things and nuclear physics, but we still don't understand and don't have solutions for those very, very human pains. And we don't deal with that very well still. And I agree with you in the sense that in a lot of ways I disagree with Ecclesiastes, because I'm not going to read to you. Ecclesiastes does come up with an answer at the end. Essentially what he says is have faith in God and die. I'm sorry, that doesn't help. But that's what, that's what he says. Everything is in God's hand. I didn't read that part in there because that doesn't ring true for me. And that's what you're saying, I think. But the problem is still there. And I love the fact that 2,500 years ago, they identified this problem, the existential problem of beingness. And that we still face every single day, every one of us. How do we make meaning and purpose out of our lives? Who are we? What time is it now? I think I'm out of time. We'll have to, go ahead.
This is a little bit of a humorous answer to that, to the things you've been talking about. The Buddha said that you will have pain and that you will lose everything, you will grow old, and you will die. These are 4 precepts that, Well, what that means is that while you're having pain, you're always going to be having pleasure too. And while you're going to lose everything and everybody, that means you have all this stuff, and you have those friends, and you have the people, and you're going to have them. If you didn't have them, you couldn't lose them. And then the last thing is you're going to grow old. Well, that means you'll have lived. And when it comes to, yes, you will die, well, the Buddha said, we will see.
Yeah, but I also, excuse me, this thing has been moving around on me the entire time. We won't talk about that. But also that there can be pain, but not that there will be necessarily in your life, and that you have some control over that. The more you hold on to it, the more you can. And I love that I was brought up in a faith that was very black and white, sin or not, damnation or not. And the thing I love about Buddhism is that you have choices. You can have pain or not. You have that choice. And that's why in my reading, I hope I brought out that, we can hold on to things or can learn to let go as one is able. And the more we hold on and cling to things, the more suffering there is. Anyhow, all right, so these are our closing words. Oh, yeah. Our closing hymn is We Laugh, We Cry. Please stand as you are able. Number 354. And now for the closing words from John O'Donohue. Though the destination is not yet clear, may we trust the rhythm of unfolding days. May the unknown future draw us gently like the tide toward the shore. Each moment is a threshold. May we step through with grace. And now I extinguish the chalice. Please read the words in your order of service. We extinguish the
This is A Time for Us by Nino Rota.
Thank you. That was beautiful. And thanks to Greg for coming today. For those of you who know God, may God bless you. For those who love life, may life return the affection. And for those who are seeking the true path, may the path be found. And may you take it every day with grace. Have a wonderful week. And join us for coffee and fellowship.